It's no secret that almost every version of Sonic.EXE or Sonic Horror Monster loves to make Tails suffer. While they have other victims, Tails will always be the first and, in a lot of cases, the only victim. Why? Well, game development is hard, and it usually stops at the Tails demo, so we never see anyone suffer more than he does. So then I had an idea. Which version of Tails suffers the most? Why did I get this idea? I don't know. Is it a little messed up? Absolutely. My morbid curiosity got the best of me, so I ended up making this tier list. Which Sonic.exe is the worst in terms of torture? So here I have set up a tier list, one of which you guys could check out in the description and do yourself. I have grabbed a variety of Tails in different EXE stories to determine which Tails has it the worst. A quick disclaimer, as there will be gore, spooky images, and flashing lights, along with some stuff that might be uncomfortable for some users. So there's your disclaimer, please be warned in when watching this video. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. Ah yes, the classic Sonic.EXE game that started it all. This game would go on to inspire thousands, if not millions of Sonic.EXE games, and it was likely responsible for a surge in EXE games outside the fandom and in it. The same three victims would go on to appear in almost every single Sonic.EXE story. Tails, in this game, walks to the right, finds a bunch of animals he knows and loves, all scattered and covered in blood. Imagine that the world around you suddenly changes, and in front of you is your friend, but something is clearly wrong. You slowly approach them, not that you want to, but because you have to. Something is pulling you in, and before you know it, you're taken to another place. You know something is after you now. Everything is on fire, and to make things worse, it's using the image of your friend. An icon of hope and freedom. The air is hot, it's hard to breathe, and suddenly you're being chased by this demonic being. It's a quick death, though your head is separated from your body and put on a pike. But does Tails actually feel this? I believe this game is made to target you, the player, and it's made to scare you. Tails for sure has it bad here, but compared to the others on this list, I don't think it's as bad. Tails is genuinely scared. And this situation is horrible, but it's not bad just because of that. Mist Crimson's game, as I said, would go on to inspire millions of people to make Tails suffer multiple times over, again in different ways. So while it's not as brutal as some others on the list, it's a catalyst to causing him to suffer multiple times over. So for that reason, I'm putting Mist Crimson's Tails in A tier. 2011X is up next. It's kind of similar to Mist Crimson Sonic.EXE. The difference is, this is technically not Tails, this is Alan. Souls from the real world are transferred in this game, forced to be killed in multiple different ways over and over again. Alan isn't alone in this world and has people that he suffers with. That doesn't exactly make the situation easier, as X continues to find ways to torture any soul with a vessel. I've heard that Alan doesn't always have control over his body either, but to be honest, I'm not entirely sure if that's the case. This follows the same formula that Crimson X does, but when Alan is being chased, his neck is snapped quite brutally, putting an end to him rather quickly. But this won't be the only time that Alan dies, as this game is going to be going on for eternity. New ways of being burned alive, perhaps given hope in some moments, only for it to be ripped away. 2011X hasn't perfected his torture just yet, but it's still a hellish nightmare that isn't ending anytime soon. As if this wasn't bad enough, Alan is suffering forever. And to 2011X, and to some extent the player, it's entertainment. Your suffering is the punchline to a horrible joke. Though, because X hasn't perfected it, deaths can often be quick before respawning, so I'll be putting 2011X in A tier. Following the line of 2011X, we have Lord X, the older variant. Lord X has perfected his twisted craft and understands the game better than he ever did before. He created the Guardians to enslave humanity so he can focus on providing twisted entertainment for his quote-unquote friends. He's calmed his temper a bit, changed his world, and updated his tactics. Death is no longer a quick escape. It's a process. It's a show with multiple seasons, creativity like he has never displayed it before. While he doesn't fully show it in this game, it's clear he's willing to do a lot to keep things entertaining. Alan, at this point, has seen almost every hell imaginable, but the new game Lord X introduces is something beyond sinister. He knows how to still give hope to Alan. Perhaps things can be different after all this time. He's much more manipulative. his actions shrouded in his words. Lord X uses old friend to address the audience as if to manipulate you, and to an extent, Alan. Considering that this is just 2011X's game, but even more drawn out and awful, I think Lord X gets the S tier slot. Going back to the classics, we have Broughtworth Sonic.EXE. This old animation is a classic, and while it's filled with funny sounds and older animation, it's a Sonic.EXE story with a few plot twists and new designs to the character. He may look like the typical Sonic.EXE now, but as time goes on, he gets a new design, and more lore is actually revealed. I'll be doing a video on this guy at some point, but let's just focus on how he makes Tails suffer. Tails is having a nice day, flying until he spots his buddy Sonic casually floating in the air. You know how he does. Happy music is playing, but when he steps forward, the screen flashes and everything changes. Flowers are wilted, everything is colored red. Sonic is the same, staring forward off in the distance, not looking back. Tails slowly approaches him, and you know the deal. At first it really is Sonic, but you know, that changes. Tails begins to run away, Sonic.EXE giving chase. Though this doesn't last very long, Tails grabs a sharp bone off the ground and points it at the demonic entity. This goes about as well as you can imagine. Tails stabbed it into the hedgehog's head. There's a clear impact. He thinks he did something, but Sonic just finds that really funny. He disappears though, and Tails for a moment feels relief again, trying to process what the hell just happened. But surprise, Sonic.EXE is back, and with one swipe of his hand, Tails' top half of his body is no longer attached. He later gets his head put on a pike, and that's that. Broughtworth goes on to do some more evil things, and some victims have it worse. In Tails' case, it was a scary interaction, but it didn't last too long. This tier list is seeing what Tails has it the worst, and in this case, he's not suffering for eternity. Unless his head is alive on the pike, then, I mean, that is really terrible. But I don't think that's the case. So in terms of suffering, Broughtworth is going on a C. A quick kill, but an intimidating encounter regardless. On the opposite end of that, we have Sonic.OMT. Talk about the most amount of suffering Tails has received in any game I've seen so far. I think a lot of people already know how bad this gets, but I'm gonna show you just some of the things he does. How about Tails getting slowly eaten by a spider? Or Tails ripping himself in half, it's still alive while doing it! The sound effects for these are actually terrifying, and there are multiple examples like this. OMT is one of the most brutal versions of Sonic.EXE to exist. His whole game is finding unique ways to make Tails suffer. I mean, he literally laughed at him as the drown timer counts down. This would be horrifying. You can't leave and you're slowly drowning with some demonic entity laughing at you? Yeah, this guy is S tier for sure. Listen, at this point, I had to stop and I went, man, is what I'm doing right? I mean, Tails is such a great character. Everyone loves Tails. He's adorable. But then I thought, man, it's just really funny. Maybe if he wasn't such a crybaby little bitch, we wouldn't have this problem. This is your fault, Tails.
What the fuck, man?
Next up, we have a newcomer on the list from Sonic.EXE Wrath of Mobius, Azazel. Tails in this world has made it all the way up to Sonic Forces, and after being a coward, he swears to try and do better. Well, Sonic gets his body taken over, Azazel teams up with Eggman, and now he's after poor old Tails. That's a highly abridged version, but you get the idea. Tails plays hide and seek with Azazel, but the thing is, he's able to fight back quite well. I mean, during hide and seek, you can actually make it out alive, but then... yeah. Tails is partially blinded and is forced to traverse the sewers while his crazed friend hunts him down. Not only is he betrayed by his friend, he's partially blind and alone. Despite this, he's able to make it out alive, and there's still hope for him to fight back. For this reason, I'll be putting Azazel in A tier. He makes Tails suffer. panic hurts him, but it's like there's a little bit of hope. Maybe that will change when the game is updated, but it's not quite S tier. Next up, we have Sessier Prime. This is a bit of a unique case, as Sessier doesn't really want to hurt Tails specifically. He has to beat everyone senseless until their mind is completely broken. He shatters the mental fortitude of the fox until eventually he's painfully demonized. Demonization is a bit interesting in how it works. In Sessier's case, he basically gives them a bit of a power boost, but they are more like slaves at this point. They still maintain their personality to some extent, but they undergo a brutal transformation, and they have to listen to Sessier no matter what. Their will is broken, and there's no way for them to resist anymore. Tails is left to be a servant, but in this story, it's meant to be for, like, a greater cause. His actions are still kind of his own in a lot of cases, but this whole situation that Sessier Prime has brought has just been a lot. So, for that reason, I'm putting the suffering of Tails for Sessier Prime specifically in A tier. But it's to protect the planet he cares for, and a piece of himself gets to live on, and be a part of something bigger. Sonic.EXE. Tails in this game comes across as a little strange. At first, it's Green Hill Zone, but things escalate quickly and he's already asking for help. His eyes disappear and the world around him goes dark. It's clear Tails has been through this before and is being tortured continuously in this world. I don't have much to go off of besides what it shows in-game, but it's still pretty bad and kind of sad to see. I think this Tails in particular is going in B tier. It's still awful, but we don't know much about or the extent of what he goes through, just a glimpse of it. Starved Infernace is up next. Since we're talking about Tails, I'll be going off of the FNAF version as that's where we see Tails confront Starved. Imagine this. Your best friend's corpse is scattered about on the floor, and your arch rival is standing over you. He's horrifying. The smell of rotting flesh and intestines fill the room as you confront the monster who did it. You've been caught, and you're nothing more than prey to the mad doctor before you. This situation is horrifying. You know no one can come to save you, as there will be nothing to save after this. Starved and Infernace make Tails suffer in the most awful way, and put it right below Sonic.OMT. Up next is, what is this guy doing here? This is Lucian, my EXE. I'll be doing a video on him at some point, and his EXE design may be tweaked a little, but I'll give you a glimpse into how Tails suffers. Lucian is the creator of the Mobians. Specifically, he made them to help humanity. He gives a piece of his power to each of them, not only to ease the worries of humanity, but to essentially limit his power and give the humans guardians he knows would never betray them. Tails, along with the other guardians, feel an instant connection with Lucian. The power Lucian grants Tails is part of his godly intellect. Lucian was basically like a father to them and raised them to be warriors, scientists, and a good friend to those who needed it. Well, things happen. Humanity betrays Lucian, he goes crazy, yada yada. This will be explained in my lore video later down the line. Tails is forced to confront Lucian, a dear friend of his, in order to do what he was designed for. But Lucian has to kill Tails in order to get his power back, and toys with the fox for a while before killing him. The process isn't immediate. It's filled with betrayal and heartbreak. A son confronting a broken shell of his father, a brutal confrontation that Tails doesn't want to have to face. It's a rough situation emotionally for everyone involved. For that reason, I'll be putting him in S tier. A Seller from Spirits of Hell and Whisper of Soul is up next. A Seller puts Tails through hell, but it really just depends on the ending that you get for the guy. But in the story of Whisper of Soul, Tails gets reset over and over again, dying in different ways, or in some cases, causing something to happen he doesn't want to. It's a never-ending fight with the finish line too far out. But it's the true ending for both games. He and his friends make it out alive and know that there's still hope. It's a bit hard to rank this because Tails does suffer, but he also has a chance of succeeding. So for that reason, I'm only putting his Seller in B tier because it could be worse. Shin Sonic is up next, and oh my god, this poor Tails, good god. His dear friend Sonic has turned into this freakish monster, and he also does as well. He's mutated and multiplied to do Shin Sonic's bidding, and it's horrifying. I don't know how much he's suffering during this, as becoming a monster might numb his mind to it, but honestly, I very much doubt that. Shin Sonic Tails is going in A tier. Having this happen to you, experiencing the fear and confusion with no end in sight is truly terrible. Allfather. In recent lore, the Tails vessel isn't the same as others. He's a pretty evil dude and will sacrifice anyone he needs to in order to escape the demon after him. That being said, in the Roblox game, he ends up being publicly executed and called a traitor. If that's not bad enough, you, the player, take over the body of Tails, tear off his arm, and continue forward. I'm putting Allfather's Tails in S tier because as you go on, you find out you're not the only Tails vessel. There are tons scattered and dead across Sonic's safe Robloxia. Not only do you see this, but who knows what nightmares await you ahead. And you could argue it's the vessel who's suffering, but it's in Tails' body, so I think we're both right. Sonic Rewrite. Okay, so technically this isn't Tails, but it's a version of Tails. I know people would be a little confused if I didn't include Rewrite. Usually, Rewrite makes the player suffer. The victims of Rewrite had to die in the real world and be transported into Sonic's world. It's there he would scare them for all of eternity, playing sadistic jokes on them and carrying the souls around everywhere with him. I mean, imagine having your afterlife taken from you only to be stuck in a digital hell. Each victim has their own personality, and Miles has it the worst, it would seem. So I think this is easily S tier. Sunky.MPig! Imagine an entity who wants to have fun with you for all of eternity and be friends with you. Honestly, might just be the most terrible thing for introverts. This guy is going in S tier, obviously. I think he makes Tails suffer the most. I'm just kidding. I have a tier specifically named Oh They're Chill for this specific purpose. I was afraid I'd be repetitive, and I haven't had a chance to include Sunky in a video in a while. So, yeah. Sunky is a fun-loving guy who loves to throw dance parties and be silly with his pals. Outcome Memories Tails. I know the inclusion of Tails here might not make sense, but hear me out, alright? This is confirmed to be actual Tails in a Sonic.EXE setting. He has an arm cannon to protect himself, but it won't always work. The fact he has to play a never-ending game of him being hunted again and again against multiple different monsters, I'd say it makes sense why he's here, and why I'm putting this poor guy in S tier. The suffering he has to endure, either watching his friends die over and over, or watching himself die, it's pretty bad. Next up, 2017X, or as my comments will say, why did you put Sonic on the tier list? You know who you are. 2017X is a bit of a unique case. You are taken away against your will, forced to play a role, and if you step out of line, he will make sure that you pay. Some people say this isn't as bad as the others, but have you ever had someone where you felt like you were walking on ice? Like any word could make them explode or have an unexpected reaction. If you have, I'm sorry. It's kind of like that though. Sonic is so mentally unstable. His actions can be very unpredictable. We don't have the full story, but from what I gather, it's not a great time. You're not outright being tortured 24/7, but it could happen at any moment. For that reason, the suffering of 2017X's Tails is S tier. If Subterfuge has anything to say about it, it really just goes to show you how horrifying this situation would be. I just ranked which Tails suffers the worst, and the real answer is all of them. No, I did this in good fun, and hopefully you got a laugh out of it. This tier list is in the description, so I can bring you down with me and make you feel bad as well. Subscribe, and remember, stay freaky.
That is messed up.